Captain felt the ship shudder as it entered the orbit of 9. The planet glowed with swirling clouds of green and purple light, like a living jewel floating in the darkness of space. His chest tightened with a mixture of excitement and fear. For months, humanity had watched 9 from afar, hearing stories of its alien civilizations, beings more advanced than humans could imagine, capable of manipulating energy and matter in ways Earth scientists had only dreamed of. Most diplomatic envoys sent to this planet had never returned. Many called it the most dangerous world in the galaxy, yet here he was, tasked with humanity's first true contact. His fingers gripped the railing of the shuttle bay as the hatch opened. A wave of cold, fragrant air filled the cabin. Beyond the threshold stood a figure unlike anything he had ever seen. She was tall, her movements smooth and flowing, her skin shimmering faintly like liquid silver under the light. Her eyes reflected swirling galaxies, and the shape of her face carried a strange, almost hypnotic beauty. She did not speak any human language, yet her presence demanded attention and respect. The shuttle doors slid closed behind him, sealing him inside a strange new world. The alien woman made a gesture, her hand pointing forward. Her movement was elegant but firm, understood instinctively that she was inviting him to follow. Every nerve in his body screamed caution, but he also felt a strange pull, a connection he could not explain. He stepped forward carefully. The floor beneath his boots felt alive, pulsating with faint energy that reacted to his weight. The hall stretched before him like a crystal cathedral, walls covered in intricate patterns that seemed to move when he looked at them. Light shimmered along the surfaces in soft waves, illuminating dozens of alien figures circling the hall. Some floated in the air, others slithered along the walls, each shape more bizarre than the last. Their eyes studied him, calculating, silent, yet filled with an intensity that made his skin prickle. Remembered his training: stay calm, observe, do not provoke. His entire mission depended on not making a mistake. Yet standing there, surrounded by creatures who could end him with a thought, he felt something deeper than fear. He felt purpose. Humanity had sent him here to represent them, and he would not fail. The alien woman led him to the center of the hall. Here, the air shimmered more strongly, as if the energy of the planet itself concentrated around her. She raised her hands slowly, and a soft hum filled the room. Could feel it vibrating through the soles of his boots up into his chest. The other creatures stepped back, giving space, as if they recognized her authority. Then she stepped closer to him, and for the first time he saw a small smile on her lips. It was subtle but full of meaning, a recognition of his courage simply for being there. His heart skipped. Despite the danger, despite being far from home and surrounded by beings he could not understand, he felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps he could survive this. Perhaps humanity could make its mark. He raised his hand slowly in a gesture of peace. The alien woman mirrored him, her movements perfectly in sync. Realized in that instant that communication did not always require words. Bravery, honesty, and respect were universal languages. "Whatever comes next," he whispered to himself, "I will face it." The alien woman inclined her head slightly, as if acknowledging his resolve. A soft glow emanated from her chest, pulsating rhythmically, and felt the faintest brush of warmth on his skin. It was not just light. It was an emotion, a connection, a wordless welcome into her world. In that moment, Captain understood that this mission was no longer just about diplomacy or survival. It was about courage. It was about trust. And it was about stepping into a story bigger than anything humanity had ever known. As he followed her deeper into the hall, his mind raced, but his heart was steady. He would not let fear dictate his actions. He would meet this alien world as a human, bold, curious, and unafraid. The adventure had begun. The hall seemed endless as followed the alien woman. Every step echoed softly against the crystalline walls, the sound multiplying in strange patterns that made his head spin. The creatures around them watched silently, their eyes glinting with curiosity, suspicion, and something he could not name. Every instinct screamed caution, but he forced himself to remain calm. Suddenly, the alien woman stopped. She raised a hand, and the air around them shimmered, twisting like liquid light. Before him appeared a creature unlike the others. Its 6 limbs moved with incredible speed, its body covered in dark, reflective scales. Its eyes glowed red, and its sharp claws clicked on the floor, froze. This was not a welcome gesture, it was a challenge. The alien woman stepped aside, her gaze fixed on him. He realized then that this was a test, not of his intelligence but of his courage. He could run, but he knew running was not an option. The creature advanced. His heart hammered in his chest. He remembered every lesson from training, every simulated fight, every obstacle course, every moment of pressure. His hands tightened around his sidearm, even though he doubted its effectiveness against such a being. But then he remembered something else. Fear was not weakness. Courage was not the absence of fear, it was action in spite of it. The creature lunged, ducked, rolling to the side, narrowly avoiding the strike of its claw. Sparks flew as the metal of the hall rang against the attack. He sprang to his feet and threw himself forward, striking at the creature with a practiced swing of his arm. It dodged with impossible speed, and he felt a pang of frustration. Each attack he made was met with near-perfect evasion. The alien woman watched quietly. Her eyes were calm, yet sharp, observing every movement, every decision he made. Realized that she was judging more than his skill, she was judging his heart, his choices, his resolve. Taking a deep breath, he changed tactics. Instead of striking, he focused on movement, predicting the creature's path and forcing it into the center of the hall. Step by step, he guided it, using the momentum of its attacks against it. His muscles ached, his lungs burned, but he kept going. Every strike avoided, every roll completed, every calculated move was proof of his determination. Finally, with a last desperate maneuver, he forced the creature to the floor. It hissed, shaking its massive body, but it did not attack again. The hall fell silent. His chest heaved with exhaustion. He looked up, expecting anger or disappointment. Instead, the alien woman stepped forward, her silver skin shimmering in the soft lights, her eyes warm yet commanding. She placed a hand gently on his shoulder. "You are very brave," she said. Her voice resonated, clear and musical, though humans could understand it. It was not just a compliment, it was recognition. Relief and pride washed over him, stronger than anything he had felt in months. He realized then that bravery was not about winning or surviving, it was about standing firm when all odds were against you. For a long moment, neither spoke. The hall seemed suspended in time. The other creatures retreated slightly, as if understanding that the test was over. His body trembled from adrenaline, but his mind was sharp. He had passed this first trial. He had shown courage, and in return he had gained a measure of respect. The alien woman stepped back and motioned for him to follow, obeyed, feeling a newfound sense of purpose. This planet was strange, dangerous, and magnificent. Every step forward would be a challenge, yet he no longer feared them. He had proven to himself, and to her, that he could face the unknown. As they walked deeper into the shimmering corridors, his thoughts drifted to Earth. He hoped humanity would someday understand what he had begun to learn here. Courage was universal. It transcended language, species, and even worlds. And for the first time, he felt that humans, despite all their limitations, could belong among the stars. The test had ended, but the journey was only beginning. After the test in the hall, felt a strange mixture of relief and tension. He had proven his courage, yet every step in this alien world reminded him that one wrong move could destroy everything. The alien woman walked ahead, her silver skin glowing softly in the shifting light, followed, trying to mirror her careful, measured movements. They entered a chamber filled with floating crystals, each one humming with soft, melodic energy. The room pulsed with life and instinctively reached out to touch one. The moment his fingers brushed the surface, the crystal flared with bright light, sending ripples through the air, stumbled back, heart pounding. The alien woman watched silently, her expression unreadable. He realized this was another test, this time of awareness and respect. He tried to speak to explain, but the words felt clumsy in his mouth. I admire the craftsmanship of your attire," he said awkwardly, pointing at the flowing silver patterns along her arms. The alien woman tilted her head slightly, a ripple of light passing over her face. For a moment, thought he had failed again. Then, in a moment of nervousness, he said something he had not intended. His words were meant as admiration, but they came out wrong, sounding brash and inappropriate in the quiet of the chamber. The air froze. Every floating crystal's glow dimmed. The alien woman's eyes narrowed, not in anger but in sharp curiosity, felt the blood drain from his face. He waited, expecting rejection, perhaps even hostility. His mind raced. Had he ruined everything? Was humanity's first contact doomed because of a single careless remark? Then she laughed. It was soft, musical, and full of warmth. The sound made the tension in the chamber melt away like ice under sunlight. She stepped closer, her presence calm but commanding, and placed her hand lightly on his shoulder, a gesture that seemed to say, "You are still safe, but be mindful." "You are very brave," she said again. Her words were both a comfort and a lesson. Not many beings in her world would speak with such honesty, she explained without words, and even fewer would survive the consequences. Chest swelled with relief. Somehow his awkward honesty, his willingness to speak his mind despite fear, had earned respect. Realized that bravery on 9 was more than physical courage. It was also emotional, the courage to be honest, to admit uncertainty, to face misunderstanding without hiding. He took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the lesson settle over him. The alien woman led him to another chamber, this one glowing in soft blues and purples. Strange symbols floated in the air, shifting and rotating as though alive. Reached out, careful this time, and touched a symbol. Information flowed into his mind, not fully understandable, but enough to feel the depth of her culture. He gasped, overwhelmed by the connection, and the alien woman watched, unflinching. For the first time, understood the delicate balance between courage and respect. Words could be dangerous, intentions could be misread, yet openness and honesty could also build bridges stronger than any technology. Humanity had sent him here to learn. He realized that the lessons he was receiving were more than tactical, they were moral. As they left the chamber, glanced at the alien woman. Her face shimmered with gentle light, and for the first time he felt a sense of companionship, even across species. Yet he had not been destroyed. Instead, he had been taught. He understood now that the universe did not reward caution alone. It rewarded those willing to risk, to speak, and to act with integrity. The corridor stretched ahead of them, mysterious and full of promise. His mind was alive with thought, yet his heart remained steady. He knew that more challenges awaited, more tests of courage and character. But now, he was not just surviving. He was learning, growing, and beginning to understand what it truly meant to be brave in a universe far larger than his own. And somewhere deep inside, he felt a spark of hope. Perhaps humanity could rise to meet the stars after all. The alien woman led deeper into the heart of 9. The corridors now seemed alive, walls breathing softly with light that shifted colors in rhythm with his own heartbeat. He felt a strange connection to this place, as if the planet itself were watching, testing him silently. His mind raced, wondering what challenge awaited next. At last, they arrived at a massive chamber, circular and impossibly tall. In the center floated dozens of spheres, each glowing with a unique color, pulsing gently. The air hummed with energy, vibrating in a way that made his teeth tingle. He instinctively knew these spheres were important, though he could not yet understand how or why. The alien woman gestured for him to step closer. She raised both hands, and the spheres shifted, orbiting around him slowly, creating a mesmerizing dance of light. Eyes widened. Each sphere seemed to contain a fragment of life itself, a memory, an emotion, or a piece of knowledge from her people. He felt the weight of responsibility pressing on him. One wrong choice could be catastrophic, yet he understood that this was a test. He studied the spheres carefully. Some radiated warmth, others a cold, harsh light. Some pulsed quickly like a heartbeat, while others glowed steadily, serene and calm. He could feel the energy brushing against his mind, whispering promises and threats he could barely comprehend. The alien woman watched him intently, her silver skin shimmering softly. There was no encouragement in her gaze, only the expectation that he would choose wisely. Hesitated, every instinct screamed caution. The weight of humanity's hopes rested on him, and yet he knew hesitation could be as dangerous as recklessness. He closed his eyes, listening to the rhythm of the spheres, feeling their energy rather than thinking. Then slowly, he reached out toward the smallest sphere, barely glowing, hovering quietly near the floor. Something about it felt honest, unpretentious, and true. The moment his fingers touched it, the sphere flared with light, sending a ripple of energy through the chamber. Felt a surge of knowledge, visions of 9's people, their struggles, their joys, their fears, flowing into his mind. It was overwhelming, almost too much to bear, yet he remained focused, steadying himself against the rush of information. The alien woman stepped forward. Her eyes glimmered with approval, and she spoke softly in words he could understand. "You trust. You choose with your heart, not your fear." Realized she was testing more than intelligence or bravery. She was testing loyalty, compassion, and the ability to act with integrity even when consequences were unknown. He felt an immense weight lift from him. He had passed the test, not by force or skill, but by understanding the importance of choice and responsibility. The chamber seemed to relax around him, the spheres returning to their gentle orbit, the air pulsing in a calm, harmonious rhythm. "You are learning," the alien woman said. Her voice resonated through the chamber, soft and melodic. "Bravery alone is not enough. Wisdom without courage is meaningless. Trust without understanding is fragile. You have begun to balance these things." His chest swelled with pride, but he also felt humility. The lesson was clear. To survive in this universe, one needed more than strength or cleverness. One needed heart, judgment, and the courage to face the unknown honestly. As they exited the chamber, the alien woman extended her hand, reached for it, feeling a sense of connection stronger than anything he had ever known. He realized that trust could exist between species, between worlds, if courage and understanding were present. Walking back through the luminous corridors, his thoughts drifted to Earth. He knew the knowledge he was gaining here could change humanity's future. He felt hope that one day, humans could reach beyond fear, beyond prejudice, and stand proudly among the stars. The test was over, but the journey continued. Knew that more challenges awaited, more lessons to be learned, and more chances to prove not just his bravery, but the bravery of all humanity. And for the first time, he felt ready. The next day, the alien woman guided through a twisting maze of corridors, each more dazzling than the last. Light flowed along the walls like liquid silver, and strange symbols shimmered in the air. Had begun to feel comfortable in her presence, trusting her guidance and the unspoken bond that had formed between them. But he had learned to be cautious. 9 was beautiful, yes, but beauty often hid danger. Without warning, the serene calm of the corridors shattered. From the shadows, a group of rogue emerged. Their skin was darker, jagged, and their eyes burned with malice. His heart leapt. These were not the creatures he had been learning from. They were hunters, enemies of any who dared contact humans. They moved fast, surrounding him with a coordinated precision that spoke of years of deadly training. His mind raced. His sidearm felt heavy in his hand, but he knew it would do little against them. He had no choice but to rely on instinct, agility, and his training. He ducked under a swipe of clawed hands, rolling to the side and kicking out to keep an attacker from pinning him. Sparks flew as energy weapons flared briefly in the dim light. Each movement demanded complete focus. One mistake could mean death. Just as a sharp strike came toward him, a wave of light burst through the corridor. The rogue were thrown backward, shrieking in surprise. Turned to see the alien woman standing between him and the attackers, her arms raised as light rippled from her body like a storm of silver fire. Energy arcs danced along the walls, forcing the enemies to retreat. Her eyes glowed, and the hum of her power filled the corridor. "You trusted, you survived," she said, her voice calm but firm. "But bravery alone is not enough. Courage must be guided." Her words struck in a way he had not expected. He realized that trust was fragile and that even in a world of wonders, danger could strike without warning. The rogue regrouped and lunged again, but the alien woman's power created a barrier of shimmering light around them. Could see the exhaustion in her posture. Maintaining this barrier required immense strength. He knew then that surviving here was not just about his own courage. It was about forming bonds, trusting allies, and respecting power that was beyond human comprehension. When the attackers finally fled, slumped to the ground, breathing hard, his mind was spinning, not from fear alone, but from awe. He had faced danger before, but this was different. He was not just fighting for himself. He was fighting for trust, for understanding, for a fragile alliance that could shape the future of humanity. The alien woman extended her hand to him. He took it without hesitation, feeling a warmth that went beyond the physical. "You chose to trust even when danger came without warning," she said. "Few would do what you did. Few would act with honesty and bravery in the face of chaos." Nodded, exhausted but resolute. For the first time, he understood that bravery was not an abstract quality. It was action, choice, and sacrifice. Humanity had feared aliens, feared the unknown, but here he saw something different, a chance to rise above fear and earn respect through courage. As they moved forward, the corridors glowed softly and felt a renewed sense of purpose. He knew more challenges would come, more tests of character, and perhaps even more betrayals. But he also knew that trust and courage, when combined, could create bonds stronger than any threat. For the first time, he felt a sense of belonging in this alien world, not as an invader, not as a guest, but as someone who had earned the right to be here. The rogue were gone, but the lesson remained clear. Survival was not just about strength. It was about trust, understanding, and the courage to act when all odds seemed against you. Rose, brushing the dust from his uniform, and followed the alien woman further into the glowing corridors. Each step carried weight, each choice mattered, and he felt ready to face whatever came next. Humanity's future, he realized, might very well depend on the courage of a single human standing in the heart of an alien world. After the chaos of the ambush, walked silently beside the alien woman. The corridors glowed softly, reflecting his exhaustion and relief. His muscles ached, but his mind was alive with thoughts. He had survived, but more than survival, he had begun to understand. Courage alone was not enough. He needed wisdom, patience, and trust. The alien woman led him to a large observation chamber. From its windows, 9 stretched endlessly, oceans of green and violet clouds rippling under twin suns. The air vibrated gently, carrying the pulse of the planet itself. Could feel the energy beneath his feet, a living force that seemed to watch, to test, and to guide. She gestured for him to sit, and he obeyed. Around them, holographic projections of her people shimmered in the air. Their lives, their struggles, and their culture unfolded in images and feelings, passing directly into his mind. He gasped at the vividness, the joy of a child learning to walk, the grief of a community mourning loss, the pride in their achievements of art, technology, and exploration. Realized he had been seeing only the surface of this world. The power, the beauty, the danger, all of it was important, but the heart of 9 was its people. And now, through her guidance, he could feel what they felt. It was overwhelming, yet enlightening. "You feel much," the alien woman said softly, her voice calm but clear in his mind. "To survive here, you must understand. Bravery is necessary, but understanding gives it meaning." Nodded. Words were not enough to express what he felt, but she seemed to understand anyway. He reached out tentatively, trying to bridge the gap between human and alien. The alien woman responded with a gentle touch, and for the first time sensed something beyond power or knowledge, a connection. It was quiet, subtle, but profound. He felt respect, trust, and even something he had not expected, companionship. "I want to learn everything," said finally, voice steady. "I want to honor your people, to understand your world. I want to show that humans can be worthy of trust." The alien woman's eyes shimmered with light, and she inclined her head slightly. She did not need words to acknowledge his intent. Hours passed as they sat together, absorbed knowledge, not just facts, but emotions, values, and lessons that shaped her civilization. He felt a transformation within himself. He had come as an observer, a visitor from another world, but he was becoming something more, a bridge between species, a symbol of humanity's courage and capacity to understand. At one point, he spoke again, carefully, testing the fragile trust they shared. "I know humans have done harm in the past," he admitted. "I know we are imperfect, but I also know we can choose differently, we can be better. I want to prove that." The alien woman's smile was subtle but warm. She did not speak aloud, yet the message was clear. She believed him. For it was the most powerful affirmation he had ever received. He felt hope, not just for himself, but for the future of humanity and its place among the stars. As the twin suns began to set, casting 9 in hues of violet and gold, realized the truth of what he had learned. Bravery alone could not change the universe. It was courage combined with understanding, honesty, and empathy that could. And for the first time, he felt that he, and by extension, humanity, could rise to meet the challenges ahead. He looked at the alien woman, her silver form glowing softly in the fading light, and felt gratitude, respect, and a deep bond. She had not only taught him survival, she had taught him what it meant to be human in a vast and often dangerous universe. For the first time, did not feel small. He felt part of something greater, A story that was bigger than himself, bigger than Earth, a story that he could help shape with courage, understanding, and heart. The twin sons of Nine rose slowly, bathing the planet in golden and violet light. Captain stood beside the alien woman on a high observation platform. The air shimmered softly around them, carrying the pulse of the planet like a quiet heartbeat. Felt a sense of peace he had never known, yet underneath it, the thrill of adventure and the weight of responsibility still pulsed within him. Months had passed since his arrival. He had faced danger, survived tests of courage, and endured misunderstandings that could have ended his life. More importantly, he had learned. Nine had taught him that bravery alone was not enough. Understanding, empathy, trust, and courage together were the forces that could change worlds. And now, standing here, he realized he had become more than a visitor. He had become a bridge between humanity and a civilization far beyond Earth. The alien woman turned to him. Her eyes reflected the rising suns, shimmering like liquid stars. Felt the familiar warmth of her presence, the quiet power, and the acknowledgement of trust that had grown between them. "You have learned," she said softly, her voice gentle but resonant in his mind. "And through your courage, you have shown your people that trust can exist between worlds." Swallowed hard, emotions swelling within him, he had never imagined that a single human could make such a difference in an alien civilization. Humanity was small, fragile, and flawed, but courage had given them a place here. "I only did what I hoped was right," he admitted. "I wanted to show that humans could be more than fear and conflict." The alien woman smiled faintly, and in her gaze understood something profound. Bravery was not measured by battles won or enemies defeated. It was measured by the choices one made, the honesty one held, and the willingness to face the unknown with heart and integrity. He had not only survived Nine, he had earned respect, forged connection, and begun to write humanity's legacy among the stars. Suddenly, a soft vibration ran through the observation platform. Glanced down to see the city below, its towers alive with energy and life, reacting to his presence. The people, his people, and the alien civilizations below were aware now of him, not just as a human, but as someone who had bridged the divide. His courage had created ripples that would shape the future, long after he had returned home. He looked again at the alien woman. "I don't fully understand your people yet," he said, "but I will continue to learn. I want to help. I want to protect what we have begun." Her eyes softened, shimmering like pools of liquid light. No words were needed. She had entrusted him with knowledge, and he had proven worthy. As they descended the platform together, reflected on everything he had experienced, the fear, the tests, the danger, the strange and beautiful lessons of Nine. He realized that every challenge had been a step toward understanding himself, humanity, and the universe. Each moment of bravery, each choice made with heart, had brought him here, to a place where hope and courage could shape reality. Finally, as he prepared to return to his ship, he turned for one last look at the alien woman. "Thank you," he whispered, though she could hear it without words. "Thank you for teaching me what it truly means to be brave." She inclined her head slightly, the faintest smile on her lips. Her final words echoed in his mind. "You are very brave, and now you are also wise. Go and let your courage be the light of your people." Stepped onto the ship, heart pounding with pride, purpose, and hope. Humanity had always feared the unknown, but he had learned that courage could turn fear into opportunity, weakness into strength, and strangers into allies. The stars were no longer distant and dangerous. They were a stage for human potential, a place where bravery could leave a lasting mark. As the ship lifted off, leaving Nine behind, looked out at the planet one final time. He knew that the story he had begun here would continue, carried by humanity's courage and the bonds he had forged. And deep in his heart, he smiled, ready to face the endless universe with hope, honor, and the unwavering bravery of a human who had touched the stars.